Natalie, why would you do that to me? I was so excited to meet my first grandson. Why did you kick me out of your hospital room? You cannot be serious. What made you think I was gonna let you in? I would never, ever let my precious son meet my stepmother of all people. This is a family occasion, and you are decidedly not family, so get out of here. Not family? How can you say that? I have been married to your father for 20 years. You weren't even in grade school when your father and I got married. You might not be my biological daughter, but I've always treated you as though you were my own flesh and blood. Even after all that, you still don't see me as family? No, I don't. I have never seen you as family, and I never will. I've never even thought of you as being my mom. Seriously, you're disgusting. Like, who do you think you are? You go around pretending you're my mom? Did you give birth to me? No, you did not. So knock it off. Oh, and just so you know, I'm not the only one who doesn't see you as family. What's that supposed to mean? My dad doesn't think you're our family either. When I had you removed from the hospital, he didn't do anything to stop me, did he? My God, you really don't even realize that you're not wanted around here. How pathetic. I was rather perturbed that your dad didn't stand up for me. I thought that maybe he was just too busy holding your baby to do anything about it. Yeah, well, now you know exactly where you stand around here. My dad's feelings for you are long gone. There is no one in this family who considers you a part of it. To me, you're no different than any random stranger I walk by on the street. Why should I let some random stranger hold my baby? Get real. And what about your husband, John? Does he have anything to say about you treating me this way? You think I'm actually going to tell him about this? I don't need to. He knows I value my family, and that's all he needs to know. Anyway, don't you dare go around telling people you're my baby's grandmother, because you are not. Is this the thanks I get for supporting you all these years? Tell you what, I will thank you for one thing. The way you ran out of the room crying was absolutely hilarious. A good laugh was just what I needed after going through 4 hours of labor today. So thanks for that, Renee. Also, I think you might want to contact the people at the Guinness World Records. Tell them you've set the record for the ugliest cry in history. Now get out and stay out. If you come back to the hospital, I am calling the police.
Hey there, Renee. So, tell me, how are my granddaughter and grandson doing now? Did you take any photos for me? I really wish I could have gone down there myself today, but there was a problem at the office that I had to attend to.
I'm really sorry, Dad, but I wasn't able to see the baby today.
Uh-oh. What happened? You said you were going to the hospital today, right? Was there some sort of health issue with Natalie?
No, that's not it. Both the mother and child are perfectly healthy. Natalie simply refused to allow me to see the baby.
What?
It's hard to believe, but she also says that Nate feels the same way.
My goodness. I thought it might be difficult for Natalie to accept you as her mother, given the circumstances. But for Nate to take her side against you, that's unbelievable.
As much as I wish it weren't true, it unfortunately is. Natalie screamed at me to get out, and Nate just stood there holding the baby where I couldn't see him. Thinking back, I can swear he turned his head to smirk at me as I ran out the door.
What has gotten into that man?
Honestly, I can't say that this is all that much of a shock for me. He has been uncharacteristically cold to me lately.
Have you talked to him about that?
No, I was always the one who was the most interested in pursuing a relationship and then marriage with Nate. I guess I was so grateful that he married me that, well, maybe I shouldn't complain too much about that sort of thing.
It doesn't matter who pursued who. All that matters is the two of you are man and wife. I was there on the day you two made your vows to each other. It is Nate's sacred duty to support you as his wife. Perhaps that fool had forgotten about all the support I've given him for his business over the years. Renee, dear, I really wish you would have come to me about this sooner.
I just didn't want to trouble you with my marital problems.
And it's precisely because of that reluctance to talk to Nate or myself that things have got as bad as they have. Wait, no, I'm sorry, Renee. I shouldn't have said that. It's not your fault that this is happening. I should have been more active in asking you about how you are doing.
No, Dad, please don't blame yourself. There were times when I considered talking to you. It's just that you were so happy for me when me and Nate got married, I didn't want to disappoint you.
There is precious little that you could do to disappoint me, Renee. Now, we have a lot to talk about, and it's better that we do it in person. Come over to our place. I'll have your mother put on a pot of tea for us.
Thanks, Dad. I'm sorry for getting you involved in this. It's not your problem.
When my daughter is involved, it most assuredly is my problem.
What gives, Renee? You talked to Grandpa, didn't you? Thanks to you, all our hard work was for nothing. Do you have any idea how painful it was for us to have to act like we didn't loathe you in front of him? You are seriously the worst. Yeah, I always thought it was strange how you acted around my dad. You never talked to me so sweetly while we were alone or at home. But now I know exactly why that was. You were trying to hide your true intentions from him. Yeah, obviously. Is that a surprise to you? He was the one who was paying the bill for the baby's birth. And it's not just that. He's given me tons of money over the years. What choice did I have? I had to do everything I could to make sure I stayed in his good graces. You know, you could have simply accepted me as a member of your family. That seems like a much easier path than acting for 20 years. How dense are you, anyway? I will not accept you as a member of my family because you are not a member of my family. We're not related by blood. The only thing tying you to me is some piece of paper with both of your names written on it. I told you, Natalie, I always thought of you as my daughter. You have no right to call yourself my mother. I am not your daughter, so stop calling me that. I mean, you were the one who pushed my dad into marrying you. You were crazy about him. I guess I can understand why he married you back then, because you were young and not too awful looking. But now what good are you to him? You're just old. And neither my dad nor I have any reason to pretend to be nice to you anymore. How about all the times I packed you lunch for school? When I picked you up from volleyball practice? What about all the times you were sick and I spent the entire night at your bedside comforting you? That is literally the bare minimum amount of work required of you. You want me to be grateful for that? It would be like being grateful for you breathing. You've served your purpose and now we're done with you. Never talk to me or my dad again. We have better things to do with our time than talk to some old woman who's not even our family. All right, Natalie. If that's what you want, so be it. You'll never hear from me again. Yes, finally. Hurry up and move out of my dad's house. I don't want my dad to have to put up with you for one more second. He's already put up with enough already. Fine, I'll start packing immediately. Oh, and by the way, Natalie, don't come crying when things start going very, very badly for you. What do I have to cry about? I'm getting rid of the cancer that's been eating away at my family for 20 years. Goodbye, Renee, and good riddance. We need to talk, Renee. Why has no one given me a gift yet? My baby was born a month ago now, and I've gotten absolutely nothing. You? I thought you didn't want to speak to me anymore. Why would you message me after all this time? That's not the point. Answer my question. Where are all my gifts? I had a baby. That means I get a bunch of presents. You know, baby clothes, cribs, diapers, lots and lots of money. But not one person has come. No one came by while I was in the hospital, and even after I went home, nobody has stopped by. No one's even texted me to say congratulations. I tried to call a few people to see when they were coming over, but they all hung up on me immediately. Wow, that's a shame. What's with that reaction? No way. You're behind this, aren't you? I can't believe that you would do this to me. This is your grandson we're talking about. How could you be so cruel to him? Oh, what's that? A month ago, you firmly demanded that I not go around telling people I was his grandmother. What happened to that, Natalie? Did you forget? You also said I wasn't your family, and if I'm not your family, then my family isn't your family either. You're the only one I said that to. I didn't say anything about Grandpa or anyone else. You lied to them about me. That is defamation. I could sue you. Get on the phone and call everyone you lied to right now. Tell them the truth. And when you're done doing that, go around to all their houses, collect their gifts for me, and bring them to my house. And why, pray tell, would I go out of my way to do that for you? If you want to correct the record, then you can call them all yourself. Were you not paying attention? I tried to call them, but they all hung up on me. They owe me gifts for my baby, and you are going to be the one to pick them up for me. Nobody owes you anything, Natalie, especially not family members that you've disowned. It's pretty presumptive of you to demand gifts from people. Aren't you embarrassed to be reduced to begging? It's not like I want to be in this position, but before the baby was born, all your relatives said they were going to give me nice gifts. Some even said they were going to give me a couple grand in cash. I thought I was going to get a bunch of free baby stuff and money, so I did a little bit of shopping for stuff for myself. But now a month has gone by and still no gifts. I am in big trouble because of you. No, you're in big trouble because you were counting your chickens before they hatched. You were counting on other people to give you money that you hadn't received yet and spent more than you could afford to. It's as simple as that. But I was spending my own money and it's basically all gone now. I have next to nothing left to buy clothes and stuff. At this rate, your grandson is going to have to walk around naked for the rest of his life. Is that what you want to have happen? That's a pretty gross exaggeration of the situation, I'd say. Besides, I'm not a part of your family, and I never was. That means I have absolutely no responsibility to lift a single finger to help you. Instead of me, why not have a talk with your husband about this? Seems like he'd be better equipped to respond to this problem than me. Because if I tell him, then he's going to find out what I did. Are you stupid or something? Whatever, I am done with you. I should have known better than to think I could rely on you. But I know for sure that Grandpa is going to take my side. He's going to be super mad at you when I tell him. Grandpa, please, you've got to help me. Renee is under a huge misunderstanding, and thanks to that, we're in big trouble. I'm going to have a lot of big bills coming up at the end of this month, and there is no way we're going to be able to pay it. And it's not just me that's in trouble. My dad is too. I hate to ask you for this since you've already done so much for us, but could you please give us some money to get through this month? Your great-grandson really needs your help right now.
A misunderstanding, you say? It seems like the situation is pretty straightforward to me. You and your father both told Renee that you don't consider her to be a part of your family, and that you never wanted to see her again. You did say that, didn't you?
Come on, are you really gonna take her side, Grandpa? I bet it's because you don't think I'm your real granddaughter. I'm just your step-granddaughter. You never really loved me, did you?
You're a grown woman, Natalie. Stop acting like a child. You can't just blame all your problems on other people. Think about it. Can you honestly say that you have no responsibility for what's happening to you?
Of course I can. I didn't do anything wrong.
You told her she's not family because there's no blood between you, correct? Well, I suppose I should tell you that there's no blood between me and Renee either.
Wait, what? You mean Renee isn't your daughter?
No, she is every bit my daughter, and I'll not stand for any talk otherwise. Renee is my wife's daughter. We got married when she was only 7 years old. She wasn't particularly comfortable around me at first, and we had some difficulties adjusting to our new life together. But we both made strides towards becoming a family. That's why I don't like to say that I love Renee like my real daughter. Renee is my real daughter, and I love her with all my heart. Just like I loved you with all my heart.
Wow, I had no idea. I mean, Grandma died before my dad and Renee even met, so I guess I wouldn't have had the chance to know. But why didn't you ever tell me?
We didn't feel it was worth discussing. Given the circumstances of her upbringing, I was a bit surprised when she said she wanted to marry a man with a daughter of his own. I had my doubts, but she was firm. She said she wanted to become a family with the man she loved as well as his daughter. She even said she wanted to be as good of a parent to you as I was to her. You have no idea how happy I was to hear that. And for all I knew, things were going great between you. But now I know that this was all an act. You and your father deceived me. You're liars, both of you.
Hey, that's not fair. We didn't lie to you.
When you pretended that you got along great in my presence only to treat Renee like an outsider once you got home? Yes, that is most certainly a lie. And now you've gone so far as to say that she isn't your family. Well, two can play at that game. If she's not your family, then I'm not either. I'm immediately pulling my support from your father's company, and I won't be giving you another dime either.
What? Wait, you're not gonna give my dad money for his company anymore? But his company is still in the middle of restructuring. You can't pull your support now.
His company has been restructuring for over 10 years. If it's not restructured yet, it's never going to be.
If my dad's company goes bankrupt, it's your fault.
Don't patronize me, little girl. You really think I don't know what your father has been doing? I've been in the business long enough to know that it should not take 10 years to restructure a company of that size. So I had his company's financing looked into, and I found out where all the money I've been giving him has been going to. Straight into his own wallet.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
There's no point in denying it anymore, Natalie. I've already known everything. I've already paid your hospital bill for the birth, but if you're going to tell my daughter that she's not your family, then that's the last thing you'll ever get out of me.
Wait, this is way too sudden. If you cut off your support for us right now, we'll be ruined.
That isn't my problem. You've already had plenty of fun with my money yourself, haven't you? Yes, I know about that too.
How?
That story isn't for me to tell. Give your father this message from me. My preliminary investigation is complete, and the full investigation will start soon. I will calculate exactly how much money you took from me, down to the last cent. And you are going to pay it all back.
No, we don't have it anymore.
If you won't pay up, then I'll see you in court.
You're gonna sue us? Grandpa, don't do this.
Grandpa? What are you talking about? There's no blood between us. That makes us not a family, according to you.
This is all your fault, Renee. I hope you're happy with yourself. Grandpa told me that he's not going to give me any more money. And do you know why that is? It's because you just had to go and open your big fat mouth about what I said to you. You ruined my life. Everything was going just fine for all of us up until now. When you say all of us, who are you referring to? Are you including me in that? Obviously not. You're not one of us. Yeah, that's what I thought. The truth is that things were only going well for you at my expense. I had to put up with both you and your father disrespecting me while you reaped the rewards to the tune of tens of thousands of dollars of my father's money. All I ever wanted was for you to respect my feelings toward you, but you couldn't even do that. So after you disrespected me like that, I don't want to hear any complaints from you over the consequences. But you're not my family. Why doesn't anyone else understand that? All you are is some woman who barged into my house when I was a kid. You think you can just force yourself on me, make me recognize you as my mom? You're not my mom. Didn't my dad talk to you about this? How can you still be so wrong about what a family is? I did my very best not to impose myself on you. All I ever wanted was to have a family. The truth is, your dad and I tried to have a child of our own for a while after we were married. Unfortunately, we were never successful. It turns out your dad has some fertility issues. The doctor said that there was treatment available, but it would be costly and time-consuming. We talked it over, and your dad was worried that if I had a baby, it might cause you an undue amount of emotional distress. So we decided to forego getting the treatment and continue our lives with just the three of us. My dad was the one who told, you know. I bet you hated him for that. That's why you told on me to your dad. You're wrong, Natalie. I accepted his decision because I loved him and I loved you. The two of you were all I needed to be happy. And so I gave you every bit of love that I would have given our baby. I don't believe you for 1 second. You're just saying this to make me feel guilty. And I know you were trying to force me into loving you, but it was never going to work. Why do you think that, Natalie? I never thought about forcing you to love me. I merely hoped that if I gave you all my love and affection, that one day you would come to love me back willingly. I just wanted to be your family. I was so happy for you on the day of your wedding. And when your son was born, I was in tears going to the hospital, imagining the feeling of holding my own grandchild in my arms. But you wouldn't even let me do that. You returned all my love, care, and attention with scorn. You treated me horribly, Natalie. My father and I both had to work in order to close the gap between us, but between you, your dad, and I, the only person trying to close that gap was me. I can see that any more of my effort on you would be wasted, so I am throwing in the towel. And one more thing. I told John about what you did. You what? You actually told him? No way. Why would you do that? Don't misunderstand me. It's not that I went out of my way to tattle on you. Then why did you tell him? Your husband isn't an idiot, Natalie. He noticed how no one from my side of the family was visiting you or even sending their congratulations. He thought it was strange, so he came to ask me what was going on. He asked me if this had to do with something that you did, so I told him the truth. Oh my God, this is terrible! But I guess that does explain why John's been in such a sour mood lately. I thought maybe he was just jealous because I was giving the baby all of my attention and not spending any time with him. John also isn't as much of a child as you. He was a bit surprised to hear about the way you were treating me. But somehow he seemed like he really saw this coming all along. Which brings me to something you talked about with my dad the other day. He told you that he knew what you had been doing with the money he was giving you, right? I have no idea what he was talking about. Good grief, Natalie, you really don't know when to give up. There is nothing for you to gain by denying it at this point. But since you and I both know the truth, let's just get on with it. You gambled it all away. You lost every last cent my dad gave you at the casino, the racetrack, online sports betting, you name it. Oh, but once you ran out of his money, you stopped gambling, right? No, then you started dipping into John's savings. Surely, however, losing all of your husband's money taught you a lesson, didn't it? No, after you ran through all his money, then you started taking out loans in both your name and his. How did you find that out? John told me. He said he'd been leaving the family finances to you, but got suspicious when he saw that his savings were diminishing every month. He asked you what was going on, and you blamed it on inflation. So he got a credit report for himself, and that's when he saw that you had taken loans out in his name. That poor man. I wouldn't be surprised if you two were divorced before me and your dad. No, that cannot happen. I just gave birth to our son, and I quit my job right before the birth. He can't divorce me. What am I supposed to do without him? Well, that baby is going to need you to step up, so you had better figure something out. I have no idea what to do, though. That's why I'm asking you. I would suggest you look into getting a very good bankruptcy attorney. You can go in on hiring one with your dad, since he has a lot of debts he can't pay back either. Renee, I am begging you. You've got to help me. You are past the point of no return, Natalie. There's nothing I can do to help you now. Can you at least get Grandpa to forgive the money Dad owes him? Me and my dad will go over to his house to apologize and everything. You really don't get how mad he is, do you? Oh, Natalie, we could have been a family. We still can! No, Natalie, it's over between us. My only wish is that I could get back all the time I wasted on you and your dad. Please, Renee, don't say that. You don't mean it. We had a lot of good times together, didn't we? You said it yourself. You always loved me like your own daughter, right? If you really meant that, then there's still a chance. Please, Renee, please come home. Please forgive me. We can start over again, and this time I promise it'll be different. We'll be a real family. You're about to learn this the hard way, but this world isn't that convenient of a place. Family isn't just something that you can put away until it's convenient. You made your position clear. Your only family is you, your dad, and your baby now. Uh-oh, I just got a text from John. Oh no, he says he wants to divorce me. Oh, this is terrible. Now my poor son is crying. He knows his daddy is abandoning him. Don't you feel sorry for this poor, innocent child? Oh, please. Did you think that act was going to work on me? I've been around long enough to know that desperate people will tell ridiculous Hail Mary lies when they've used up all their other options. I'm surprised, though. You were a much better actress when you were pretending to be nice to me in front of my dad. But I'm not going to be able to pay my bills this month. What do I do, Renee? Tell me. Well, there is one thing you could try. If things get bad enough for you, you could always try to beat my record for the ugliest cry in history. All right, that's that. The divorce was just finalized. Thanks for all your help, Dad.
Don't mention it, sweetheart. You know I'd do anything to protect my daughter's happiness. You've been through so much because of these two. I wish I had known back then what I do now. I should have been more vocal in my opposition to you marrying him.
Dad, you can't blame yourself for not knowing things that not even I knew about. It's entirely my fault for thinking I could build a happy family together with them. I guess I just have a terrible sense of men. But really, the most painful part of it all for me is the fact that I was never able to get Natalie to open up her heart to me. Maybe I'm not meant to be a parent after all.
That's not true at all. You did the absolute best that you could have. I may not have seen how the three of you got along when you were at home, but I watched how you acted around Natalie while you were here. What I saw was a woman who truly, dearly cared about her daughter. I should have told you this before, but you actually reminded me a lot of your mother.
Oh, Dad, you're gonna make me cry. Thank you so much. It means a lot to hear you say that. I meant what I told you before, Dad. I wanted to become a parent just like you, who gives her all for her stepdaughter.
And if your particular stepdaughter in this case weren't an absolute menace, I have no doubt that you have succeeded. It was a bad match, that's all. Your life isn't over yet, you know. I'm sure that one day you'll soon find a man who actually deserves to be married to a fine woman like yourself.
You think so?
I know so.
Well, if you say so, then I guess I can't give up hope just yet. I will have to get a better taste in men, though. Thank you so much, Dad. Not just for what you've done recently, but for everything. Thank you for loving me like I was your own.
Renee, how many times do I have to tell you? You are my own.
After John divorced Natalie, she moved back in with Nate. From the moment she moved back in, however, they started arguing over who was most to blame for their situation. Those fights happened basically every night and went well beyond midnight some days. Without my dad's support, Nate's company went bankrupt. With both of them out of work and up to their eyeballs in debt, they had a very hard time making ends meet. As for me, after my divorce from Nate, I moved back in with my dad. It's been a long time since we've lived together, but it still feels like old times when my mom and I were living with him in this very house. I hadn't worked very much since marrying Nate, but my dad was kind enough to get me a good job at a company run by one of his friends. My very first day on the job, I was approached by one of the men there, and he asked me out to lunch. I haven't been on a date in over 20 years, so I'm kind of freaking out. What should I wear? I have some exciting news! I'm getting married! And guess what? Do you want to know who it is? Should I tell you? Oh, wow, that's great. I'm really happy for you. Congratulations on your engagement. Thanks! So my fiancé is actually the son of a company president. Can you believe it? It feels like my life is going perfectly. Honestly, just being born with a decent face already makes me a winner, don't you think? I graduated from university with my sister and got a good job. And now I am marrying a rich and successful guy. Yeah, that sounds really nice. I'm glad to hear that everything's going well for you. Right? My life is seriously on a roll. I just recently quit my job in anticipation of my marriage. When I showed everyone pictures of my fiancé, the president's son, they were all super jealous. It's hilarious, really. Some of my friends from my 30s were so envious. It was funny. I mean, obviously, our backgrounds are just so different. You are really putting yourself out there, aren't you? It's one thing to say this to me, but maybe you should tone it down a bit when you're outside. What? Of course not. You think I'm going to pretend to be humble? I'm actually quite good at navigating life, you know. I can see that, but just be careful. If you keep making enemies, it could come back to haunt you later. Oh, please. It's not like you, who seems to struggle in life. I'm leading a life that's completely opposite of yours, where you had a child young and ended up alone. I haven't had to deal with any hardships at all. Well, that kind of life doesn't necessarily last forever. Especially now that you're getting married, your actions will impact your partner too. It's important to be responsible for what you say and do. Coming from someone who divorced a loser, that doesn't have much weight, does it? I mean, the way people get divorced so easily these days is ridiculous. You should think about the kids. That's something I have always thought about. And honestly, the kid that you had seems a bit slow. Plus, the kid's not exactly a looker either, so it's kind of sad. Gabby, that is way too much. You can say whatever you want about me, but leave my child out of it. Oh, look who's acting all high and mighty now. But seriously, don't you feel sorry for that kid? Having a single mother who dropped out of school, that is something to be ashamed of forever. I would definitely feel inferior about that. You can think however you want, but don't present your values as if they're universal truths or the only right way to live. Everyone carries their own burdens as they navigate life. Your reckless words will eventually come back to bite you. You should really stop acting like a child, spouting whatever comes to mind without thinking. That's hilarious. A single mother without a diploma is preaching to me now? I can't imagine how frustrating it must be for a child to have a mother like that. I'm going to make sure I never turn out like you. Do whatever you want. Oh, by the way, I'm bringing my fiancé over to meet my family soon. He wants to greet our parents, so it's happening. You and your kid better be there too, just to show face. We're technically family now, right? But once I get married, I'll probably cut ties anyway. Wow, do you really have to say all that? Well, that's just how it is. Just promise me you won't show up looking like a mess, okay? Yeah. Are you still not here? I'm already here, you know. Can you hurry up? Yeah, sorry, I'm on my way, so please wait a bit. There was a train delay because of an accident. Huh? Are you kidding me? That's such a pathetic excuse. You should have anticipated that and left earlier. I did leave early, but this happened. I'll figure out a way to get there, so please wait. Oh, this is the worst. As if it's not bad enough that I have to introduce my low-spec sister. Now you're going to be late, too? You're really failing as a person, you know. I said I'm sorry. Whatever, I already told my fiancé that you're just my servant. Huh? What do you mean by that? Do you think I'd hang around with someone like you otherwise? You're a single mom who dropped out of high school. You're just a disgrace to the family. I told my fiancé he could treat you however he wants, like a servant. Wow, if someone introduced me like that, I'd be completely disgusted by them. But whatever, I just got a taxi, so I'll be there soon. I've arrived, but where are you? What are you doing, leaving your fiancé behind? Oh, you got there? Well, that was faster than I expected. I just had some free time, so I went to the convenience store. By the way, did you meet my fiancé? Yeah, I met him. Is he treating you like a servant? You know, introducing yourself as a high school dropout and a clueless single mom.
You better kneel and apologize to her right now.
Huh? What do you mean by her? And honestly, I can't even keep up with how nonsensical this conversation is. Your logic is a bit lacking, you know, huh?
Gabby, what are you talking about? Miley, your sister, is our company's advisor and a super high-ranking executive. She's an impressive person.
Wait, are you talking about Bradley? Why is he contacting me through Miley's phone?
You introduced me as a servant, and I've been looking down on you, so I asked him what was up, and he showed me this message. I'm just devastated to learn your true nature.
Wait a minute, I'm completely lost here. You and Miley know each other?
Know each other? It's more than that. She's someone who's really helped me. I never expected to run into her like this. She's not someone you can look down on just because she's a high school dropout and a single mom. She's worked hard and achieved a lot.
Oh, is that so? I didn't know she was actually doing well in her job. And please stop treating me like the villain here. It's a fact that I became a single mother and dropped out of school.
You don't understand at all the challenges of making a living as a single mother, which is why you can say such things. Anyway, apologize to Miley. We'll talk about everything else afterward.
No way! Why should I apologize? Being a high school dropout and a single mom is entirely my responsibility and my own fault. It's her fault for choosing a life that makes you look down on yourself.
Well, now I understand. Gabby, I've lost respect for you. The engagement is off.
What? That's a bit over the top, don't you think? Wait, why? I didn't think you could be this cruel and mean. You're really a piece of work. Oh, and it's Miley, by the way. I got my phone back. He says he's leaving now. Wait, don't just take the conversation into your own hands. Are you kidding me? Don't let him go. Well, it's not happening. He seems utterly defeated now and has realized that you are someone he cannot communicate with. I don't think he has any intention of trying again. When your values are this different on something so significant, it's impossible to talk about marriage, right? Why? I haven't said anything wrong. How did we end up like this? The fact that you think you haven't said anything wrong is where it ends. Your values and his are too different. You probably tried hard to keep this facade up until now, but after exposing your true self to this extent, there's just no way. This is your fault. If you hadn't meddled, he wouldn't be angry. I get it that you don't want me to be happy in my perfect life, but please don't ruin my life. What are you talking about? If anyone is interrupting your life, it's definitely you. I'm not hindering your life at all. You forgot that you were the one who interrupted mine? I'm not to blame. You're talking about your ex-husband, aren't you? I told you before, it's his fault. He wanted to have a relationship with me because I'm prettier than you. Can you not blame everything on me? You're the one who chose him. Well, I think that myself. That's why I haven't blamed you too much until now. I just can't comprehend how someone would even think about going after their sister's fiancé. It became clear that you lack common sense, and it's pointless to keep talking about things that are in the past. I can't accept that you're doing this to me. You need to fix Bradley's misunderstanding. Take responsibility. Misunderstanding? What do you mean? You're definitely making it seem like it's all my fault. I'm not that bad of a person. I've been trying my best to live my life. No, you come off as pretty terrible to me, and I'm sure Bradley sees you the same way. You seem like someone who's always relied on your privileged background and who's lived without any knowledge of real hardship. It's painfully obvious. What did you just say? Didn't you hear? I told you that being a single mother and making a living is hard work. I don't understand how you can't grasp that, especially since you're her sister and yet he can. Well, it makes sense because his father runs a business that provides services for single mothers. Now that you mention it, I think I remember hearing something about that. See? That's why I warned you that your recklessness would eventually lead to your downfall. Look where we are now. It's turned out just as I predicted. That's why I told you to be careful. This is ridiculous. I'm already engaged and set to leave my job. I can't believe he's calling off the engagement. Well, that's between the two of you. I won't get involved, but honestly, he's too good for you. You two are just not a good match. Shut up! I am getting married! If you're not going to help, then stay out of my life. I mean it. I'm cutting ties with you for good. All right, fine. To be honest, that works better for me too. Let's do that.
Miley, I'm truly sorry for showing you such an unpleasant side. No, I mean, I'm really sorry for dragging you into our issues. I never imagined it would turn out this way. I apologize for the trouble.
No, I should be the one apologizing. My sister was the one causing you trouble. You must have been so shocked.
Yes, honestly, I was so shocked I could hardly believe it. But after Miley showed me the messages, I had no choice but to believe it. I'm really grateful that I learned the truth about her before we got married.
I agree. I was also relieved that I happened to meet you at the time when Gabby wasn't around. If she'd been here, you probably would have witnessed an ugly argument between sisters, which would have been unpleasant for everyone involved. And it's just a shame that you came all this way to formally meet with the family to announce the engagement.
Oh, no, not at all. Honestly, if I had seen any kind of argument between you two, I probably would have been even more certain about my decision to end things with her. I'm grateful I could talk to you like this without her around.
I'm glad to hear you say that, but I can't help feeling somewhat responsible for getting in the way of your engagement like this. It's just a little hard to ignore that the two of you were so close to getting married, and I feel somewhat responsible for ruining that.
No, really, you don't have to feel that way. Actually, truth be told, I already had some doubts about marrying her. It's a bit of a separate issue, but now that I've seen her true nature, I realize it's better that I learned this now than later.
Oh, wait a moment. You were feeling betrayed?
Yeah. When I found out what she really thought about people around her, including her own sister, I started piecing things together. The way she talked about her own family, her own sibling with such disrespect. It made me question if that's how she would one day talk about me, too. She seemed to have no empathy or care, and her attitude was just so cold-hearted. I've been in relationships before, but I've never experienced this kind of malice, I guess.
I understand. Gabby's always had her strong opinions, but it's shocking to hear how far she's gone. You're absolutely right to take it seriously. No one should have to put up with such behavior, and I'm sorry you even had to experience it in the first place.
Hearing you say that makes me feel reassured. I feel like I've made the right choice. Your support means a lot. I feel like I'm finally seeing things clearly.
You're very kind. I'm sorry things turned out this way, but sometimes these challenges can be blessings in disguise. It takes strength to see what's real and make the right choices. If I can help in any way, don't hesitate to reach out.
I really appreciate it, Miley. Knowing someone like you was part of her family was what kept me hopeful for so long. I'm sorry things turned out this way, but honestly, I feel a lot lighter. Thank you for being so understanding.
You're welcome. I hope everything works out for the best for you, Bradley. Why am I being thrown out of the house? I just came home to find my stuff tossed out, and then I was told to get out. And apparently they even got your approval for this? What the hell does that mean? It's exactly what it sounds like. They have my full agreement because, well, this house, the one you're staying in, it's actually under my name. What? Are you serious? I thought Mom and Dad bought it with their pension money. Nope, they didn't. I bought this house back when my child was still little, and they were there to help me get through a lot. So I decided to return the favor by buying the place. You were the one who just decided to make it your home. So that's why they're kicking me out? But why now? You know, I'm already dealing with the heartbreak of my engagement falling apart. Couldn't you cut me some slack? Oh, I know about the engagement. I told them everything, actually. I explained how you've been spoiled and coddled far too much and that it's become an issue that just keeps repeating itself. What do you mean by repeating itself? What are you talking about? Oh, you know very well what I mean. You were engaged to Bradley, yet here you are, sneaking around with another guy. You think no one noticed? Wait, what are you talking about? What proof do you even have? Don't try to play dumb. I saw all the evidence. Bradley showed me himself. I feel so sorry for him, Gabby. Here he was, thinking he had a future with you. You couldn't have been more careless. Why? Why would Bradley even know about any of this? Honestly, you can't fool someone with a sharp mind. There are people who can see through this kind of thing. And I'd say after dealing with your behavior over the years, my instincts have become pretty sharp too. So tell me, on the day you went to the convenience store, weren't you just trying to sneak in some time to chat with that other guy? Well, but so what? That's none of your business, Miley. Whatever's going on with Bradley and me doesn't concern you. Oh, trust me, I know it doesn't directly concern me. Then why bring it up? Because I'm done with this nonsense. I've explained everything to Mom and Dad so they'd understand why it's time to take back control of my house. No more freeloaders here. You can't be serious. You went and told them all of this? Of course I did. See, you may not care since you're the one doing the damage, but the people on the other end of your recklessness, the ones who get hurt, we have every right to speak up. I know that because of you. I ended up divorcing my own husband. And then, even after that, you go and pull the same thing with another guy, causing more hurt. So yes, I had no choice but to set things straight with our parents. Are you kidding me? I told you this has nothing to do with you. Why would you meddle like that? Do you have any idea how hard things are for me right now? I'm still trying to find a job. Oh, aren't you supposed to be this elite who graduated college? Finding work should not be an issue for you, right? Isn't that what you always claim? Sure, I might find something eventually, but honestly, I doubt you will. With that inflated sense of worth, you're bound to be picky about jobs. But here's the catch. You've quit every job you've had almost as soon as you've started. So how are you supposed to convince anyone to take you on? Employers aren't lining up to hire people like that. Stop it! I don't need you to rub it in. I already know that much. Well, get ready, because Bradley told me he's planning to sue for damages. So I hope you're prepared to face the consequences of your own choices. What? Sue me? For what? You two were engaged, right? He has every right to seek damages. This is your reality now, so buckle up. No, wait, no way! I don't have that kind of money! I don't even have a place to live now! Miley, come on, please say something to him! I'll apologize for everything, just let me come back home! No, you think I'm your servant? Helping you out after everything you've done would make me nothing more than your personal doormat. I gave you plenty of chances to get your act together, Gabby. But it's clear that none of it ever meant anything to you. Please, Miley, I'm begging you, help me out here. Oh, wasn't it you who once told me we live opposite lives, that you were the successful one? Looks like it's true in a way. Now you're getting a real taste of rock bottom. Enjoy. Gabby's constant messages had become quite overwhelming, to the point where I decided to simply block her number. It wasn't an easy choice, but it felt necessary for my peace of mind. I needed some space from the incessant notifications that disrupted my day-to-day life. Gabby became the type of person who often couldn't take a hint, had a knack for overwhelming anyone with her communication, especially when things didn't go her way. The relentless barrage of texts, calls, and messages had finally pushed me over the edge. In her attempt to reach out, I learned that she had been trying to get in touch with Bradley, my friend, with the hope of apologizing to him for her behavior. It's not unusual for someone like Gabby to seek out others to mediate her conflicts, thinking that if she can just get the right person to understand her side, everything would miraculously resolve itself. However, this time, things had escalated beyond mere apologies and conversations. Bradley's known for being a kind-hearted individual, always willing to lend an ear or offer support when needed. His warm demeanor makes him approachable, and many people, including Gabby, often feel comfortable confiding in him. Despite his gentle nature, there exists a more pragmatic and cold side to him when it comes to serious issues. And this situation with Gabby was no exception. After enduring her disruptive behavior for far too long, he had reached his breaking point too. I found out that he had made the difficult decision to consider taking legal action against Gabby. This was significant because Bradley typically avoided confrontation and rarely resorted to such extreme measures. The fact that he felt pushed to this extent showed how serious the situation had become. I knew that he had always been patient with Gabby, having tried numerous times to advise her on her behavior and how it impacted those around her, but it seems that despite his best efforts, Gabby was incapable of understanding the consequences of her actions. In the past, he had spoken to her, expressing his concerns and encouraging her to change her ways, but it felt like talking to a brick wall. Each conversation would end with promises from Gabby that she would do better, that she would make changes, but ultimately, those were just empty words. Time and again, he tried to guide her, offering constructive feedback, but Gabby would often brush it off or become defensive, insisting that she was fine just the way she was. As I reflected on the situation, it struck me that with people like Gabby, sometimes they need to hit rock bottom before they can truly comprehend the impact of their behavior. I thought about how difficult it must be for someone who has been coddled or shielded from the harsh realities of life to understand what it means to face consequences. Gabby, in her own little world, often seemed detached from the struggles and emotions of those around her. This lack of awareness isn't unique to her. It's something I've noticed in people who have never had to deal with the repercussions of their actions. They often live in a bubble, believing that they can act however they wish without facing the fallout. This is especially true for Gabby, who has often been treated with kid gloves by those around her, including her family and friends. The constant support and validation she received allowed her to continue her behavior without realizing how it affected others. Bradley's been a voice of reason for her, but now it seemed like even he had reached his limits. The kind-heartedness he usually exhibited had turned into a steely resolve. His decisions to consider legal action was not taken lightly. It was a last resort, an indication that he could no longer tolerate the chaos she brought into his life. I wondered what it would take for Gabby to finally understand the seriousness of her actions and the pain they caused others. It was painful to watch, knowing that despite Bradley's best intentions, Gabby might not learn her lessons until it was too late. I felt a mix of sympathy for both of them. For Bradley, I understood the frustration of trying to help someone who doesn't see the need for help. For Gabby, I felt pity because she was on a path that could lead to significant isolation if she didn't change her ways. I knew deep down that if she continued down this road, she would find herself alone, without the support of those who once cared for her. As I pondered the situation further, I considered the dynamics of their relationship. It was complex, to say the least. Bradley had always been the patient one, willing to listen to Gabby's woes and provide comfort when she was upset. However, Gabby had become increasingly demanding over time, relying on him as her emotional crutch, without reciprocating the same level of care. It's a dynamic that often occurs in relationships where one party feels entitled to the support of another without realizing the toll it takes. In my conversations with Bradley, he had expressed his exasperation with Gabby's inability to appreciate his kindness. He felt like he was giving and giving, but in return he received nothing but more demands for attention and understanding. I could see how this had begun to wear him down, leading to his decision to take a stand against her. Even as I contemplated all of this, I couldn't help but think about the moments that defined their interactions. There had been times when Gabby was genuinely sweet and caring, but those instances seemed few and far between compared to her more demanding and inconsiderate behavior. I wondered if she was capable of change or if she would continue to spiral further into her self-centered ways. Bradley had tried to remain hopeful throughout their friendship, believing that there was a part of Gabby that could recognize her shortcomings and make an effort to improve. He would often recount moments where she showed potential for growth, moments where she demonstrated empathy or kindness to others. But those instances were always overshadowed by her more manipulative and attention-seeking tendencies. It was as if every step forward was followed by 2 steps back, and it left Bradley feeling exhausted and defeated. Ultimately, it was a difficult lesson for both Bradley and Gabby. For Bradley, the lesson was about setting boundaries and knowing when to say enough is enough. For Gabby, it was a harsh awakening that her actions had consequences and that she couldn't always rely on others to pick up the pieces for her. The road ahead would be challenging, and it would require both of them to confront the truth about their relationship and their respective roles within it. As I continued to reflect on their dynamic, I couldn't shake the feeling of sadness for what might be lost. There was a time when Bradley and Gabby shared a bond that was genuine, filled with laughter and support. But now that bond was strained to the breaking point, and I feared that the damage done could be irreparable. It was painful to see 2 people who once cared for each other reaching the point of no return. In the days that followed, I kept in touch with Bradley, hoping to provide him with the support he needed during this tumultuous time. I could sense the weight of the decision he faced pressing down on him. He was caught between his natural inclination to help others with the realization that he had prioritized his own well-being. It's a conflict many people experience when they care deeply for someone who continuously drains their emotional resources. Bradley began to open up more about his feelings, and I listened carefully as he navigated the complexities of the situation. He expressed his disappointment not only in Gabby, but also in himself for allowing things to get this far. He wondered how he had managed to get to a point where he felt he had no other option but to consider legal action. The guilt weighed heavily on him, even though I assured him that he had done everything he could to help her. I encouraged him to reflect on his own needs and to recognize that it was okay to prioritize his mental health. After all, he couldn't pour from an empty cup. I reminded him that his feelings were valid, and he had every right to protect himself from emotional turmoil. It was a long and difficult conversation, but I hoped it would provide him with some clarity as he continued to grapple with his decision. Meanwhile, I also thought about Gabby and the path she was on. I couldn't help but feel a sense of foreboding for her future. She was caught in a cycle of behavior that seemed to lead only to isolation and regret. I wondered if there would ever come a time that she would reflect on her actions and see the damage she had done to her relationships. It was troubling to think that she might continue to live her life oblivious to the chaos she caused. There was a part of me that hoped she would eventually reach out for help, that she would realize the importance of self-awareness and change. Perhaps hitting rock bottom could serve as the catalyst for her transformation. But I also knew that change had to come from within, so no amount of external pressure could force someone to grow if they weren't ready to do so. As I considered the broader implications of this situation, I reflected on how often we encounter people like Gabby in our lives. Individuals who struggle to take responsibility for their actions, who navigate life without considering the impact they have on those around them. It's a harsh reality that many of us must face, and it can be incredibly disheartening to watch someone spiral downward, seemingly oblivious to the consequences of their behavior. The situation with Gabby and Bradley served as a reminder of the importance of boundaries in relationships. It highlighted the necessity of recognizing when someone's behavior becomes detrimental and knowing when to take a step back for the sake of one's own well-being. Sometimes love and friendship aren't enough to sustain a relationship. Sometimes tough love is required to bring about change. As I continued to support Bradley, I hoped he would find the strength to follow through with his decision, whatever that might be. Whether he ultimately chose to pursue legal action or find another way to address the situation, I wanted him to feel empowered in his choice. It was important for him to understand that he had agency over his own life, that he didn't have to tolerate behavior that was harmful to him. In the end, I hoped that both Bradley and Gabby would learn valuable lessons from this experience. Whether they realized it or not, for Bradley it was an opportunity to assert himself and prioritize his needs. For Gabby, it could be a wake-up call, a chance to reflect on her behavior and consider the changes necessary for her to build healthier relationships moving forward. Life often presents us with challenges that test our resilience and force us to confront uncomfortable truths. The situation was no different. I knew that whatever the outcome, both of them would be forever changed by the experience. It was a bittersweet realization, but it also gave me hope. Because sometimes, through the struggles and heartaches, we find the strength to grow, to evolve, and to become better versions of ourselves.
About time that CEO died. And I'm sure that a scum CEO like him must have a scummy son as well.
Stanley, your timing with all of that is terrible. Do you really think I want to sit here and listen to you talk about us like that after my father passed away? I know very well that you and my father were not very close to one another. Not even close at all, actually.
Huh? What do you mean by that? I am a banker and I did the right thing as one. And I never had the money to loan out to someone that could never run their business properly.
I understand that it's your job to be the one deciding whether or not to loan out the bank's money. But you having given him nothing for so long led to his company going in the red. And from there you only began to look down on him even further. Was there any real reason as to why you had to do that to my father when he was in such a rough situation?
Are you trying to say that I wasn't doing the right thing by not giving him any money? You can't do anything yourself and you feel you can judge me on that one? It's because of you being such a useless son that your father ended up dying due to stress.
I don't think I had anything to do with his death. I've heard all about what you've done to my father from him. I'd like it if you began to act a bit more like a grown adult and started to look past all the troubles you've caused us.
This is a pain in my butt. Especially since your father's company is falling apart. I'm sure the company's on the way out right now, yeah? I think you should do the honors and put it out of its misery. The CEO is gone now, so it's time that place was put to rest.
Can you stop saying such horrible things, please? I plan on bringing this company back up from the ashes you've let it become. And so I'm going to start working on that right now.
How are you going to do all that when you have no money? Well, if you happen to come to me asking for anything, I'd hand you nothing more than a bit of pocket lint before showing you the way out.
The money at that bank is not your own, Stanley. I'm not saying that you have to be the one to help with the company that I plan to bring back. But the money in that bank is not something you can control all the time. There are always other bankers I can talk with.
Huh? What's with that kind of talk? I am the only one in charge of the money at this bank, and so I can choose who gets my help or not. And because your family never understood that the company is on its final leg.
This company is not going to fall because of you. No matter what you have to say about us or this company, it's not going to die. Thank you for worrying about us here, but we don't need your worries. And thank you for caring about my father back when you actually cared. But after today, you'll never have the chance to help us out again. Now, good day to you.
I'm going to come to your father's funeral. You should be happy for that.
You don't have to come to it now. My father wouldn't be happy if you came anyway. And if you're worried that not coming will affect how you're viewed, then don't worry about that, because it won't. I'd rather you stayed far away from the funeral, actually.
I'm not planning on listening to what you've uttered. Now, I'll be coming to see your devastated expressions when I arrive at the funeral.
You're only going to cause more trouble, so please, stay away. I'm telling you that you don't have to bother with my family anymore. Now, goodbye.
I'm quite the nice guy, aren't I? I came here with some money to hand off to you guys as a gift, even though you were all scum. Thank you, please.
This isn't funny, Stanley. Why did you come to my father's funeral? Did you think that it was okay for you to do that when you're supposed to be seen as a leading banker?
Huh? What was it that I did wrong here?
You came into the funeral and chucked 49 cents at me, saying it was the money you wanted to give to my father. That right there is beyond normal. You get your head together and explain yourself to me. Actually, you don't even have to explain anything to me as long as you leave. I don't even want to look at you anymore.
I'm thinking the same thing. I'm happy thinking about how soon that company will fail soon. And I'll never have to worry about your scum again.
Excuse me? Are you really going to say that to me again when my father only just passed away a few days ago? I think that what you've done is far from okay now that you've made yourself out to look like a complete lunatic.
He caused all sorts of problems for me. Because he never knew how to run a company, his problems slowly became mine, and that was no good. But now that he's gone for good, I decided to celebrate that by handing you 49 cents in his name.
I'm going to make you regret what you've done today.
Try it.
I'm telling you that what you've just said to me, you'll soon come to regret. I'm not going to let what you've done to me go. You're really going to regret what pain you've caused me and my family today. I'm going to do all this in the name of my father.
What are you going on about, Richard? At this point, no matter what you try and say to me, I'm not going to budge. You and your whole family is a bunch of idiot scum. I'm looking forward to the day the company collapses. Well, good luck trying to pick up any scraps before that company crumbles into pieces.
I don't need to hear any of that from you because we have a plan set in place to bring the company back on its feet. And whether I do my best or not will not be affected by you. I'm seriously going to make you regret all of this, so you'd better get excited for that time to come.
Richard, it's been a few weeks now. I know I haven't spoken to you for a while now, but are you doing all right? Can you please forgive me for what had happened before? I've contacted you today apologizing for all of that. So if you don't mind, I'd love to have a moment of your time to talk through things. And preferably, I'd love to come to you to apologize to you properly and sincerely.
Stanley, your attitude has changed quite a lot since the last time we spoke. Did something happen to you?
I have seen that your company has come along quite a ways. And so I was wondering if I could be of any service to you and the company now.
So you're here asking me to allow you to help the company again? I'm surprised you're not embarrassed by asking me that after all you've done, you jerk.
Huh? Stanley?
My company really has been performing well now. And that is all because my father, the man you talked horribly about for so long, was able to make some last-minute saves before his death that brought a lot of income into the company. And because of that, the company is outperforming most other companies in the state, and has become a very popular topic for discussion. I'm sure you just want to help the company out now because you want to make yourself look good right now. You think that by asking such a thing, you and I will become close to one another? Have you forgotten about everything that you've done to my father and his family?
I'm so sorry about what had happened then. And as of now, I am very regretful of the way I had acted, both around your father and around you. Do you think you can find it in your heart to forgive me for that? I promise that there is a very high chance now that the money your father had requested before can be given to you now because of the company's outstanding performance. Will you allow the two of us to discuss all of that even further?
What? Are you expecting that I'll give in and allow you to talk about money now after all you've done? You never listened to what my father wanted when he was alive, so why have you changed your mind now?
I never meant for any of that to be damaging to him. At the time, it was hard for even I to be able to hand over the amount of money he had been asking for. Can you please find a way to understand what I'm saying?
Even if that was the case back then, the way you handled it was rude and unacceptable for a grown adult. We're not going to be asking for any kind of financial support from you now. And at this point, we have already spoken with other banks about financing, and are to the point now where we've finished our talks and are moving on to finalizing our deals.
What? Are you guys going to pull out the money you have in our bank still?
We are. We no longer want your bank handling any of the company's money. I was waiting for you to come and apologize to me just so that I could tell you that we are moving forward with pulling all of our money out of that bank. And thankfully, we are just about ready to do so. This is all working too perfectly.
Please, slow down for one moment. Are you sure about that?
About what?
The money that we're holding here is in fact the money that belongs to your company, yes? Moving it out of here so easily is not something that can be done overnight.
I'm aware of that, and that's why I've been working on accomplishing this feat for a while now. And when the money has all been pulled out, you'll have to be the one to take responsibility for it.
Huh? I have to?
Of course you do. The whole reason that our company is now pulling the money from your bank and moving it somewhere else is because of the way you acted towards us. I'm sure you'll even be fired for this now that there will be some damages to your bank.
Richard, do you think you can talk to me directly about all of this? I'd like to start out by apologizing for everything that had happened between us before. And I'd really like to have the chance to explain myself to you. I believe there is a massive misunderstanding between us right now.
A massive misunderstanding? Oh, I don't think so. I have not forgotten about the way you acted then. And no matter how much you've changed your attitude now towards me, what you had said and done will not be erased.
And I am very well aware of that. But I'd love to talk to you about that a bit more. I have thought a lot about what I've done, so please allow me to apologize to you. Please, I promise that I'll never act in that sort of childish way towards you and your company ever again.
It is far too late for you to apologize to me now. I told you back then, didn't I? I'm going to make you regret what you said and done. And I'm just doing what I had promised.
Please calm down, Richard. I'm very well aware that all of that was because of me, and I'm at fault for that. But I'd really like for us to continue talks again about how this bank can help your company in even more ways now. So please just give me enough of your time to talk with you about all of that in person.
No, thank you. I'm not going to work with your bank anymore, and I thought I had made that clear. I'll never forget the way you treated my father, and this is all happening now because of that.
I never meant to treat him so poorly then. Perhaps you could say that back then I had just gotten a little too far ahead of myself, and that caused me to act in a slightly rude manner towards him.
Slightly? I doubt that you were only slightly being rude to him back then.
His company continued to stay in the red that whole time, but he always came to me asking for more support. I understand that things were tough for him, but
even though you understood the rough situation he had been in, you not only acted towards him in a cold manner, but you even came all the way to his funeral and made fun of his name.
well, I didn't mean for that to be anything hurtful towards him and his family. I had to be at the funeral as I'm one of the lead bankers that worked with him.
Oh, I know that you had to be there. But if you had to be there only because you are a leading banker, then you should have acted like one until the very end. I'm never, ever going to let that go. You hear me? Everyone else that was at the funeral feels the same way I do about you. My father may have worked with your bank for the longest time now, but after seeing how you treated him and his family, everyone is very much okay with what I'm doing now. And I think that what I'm doing right now, having the company's money removed from your bank, is the perfect form of revenge.
Please, wait, Richard. I never expected your company to make such a huge comeback like it has after what your father did to it. I know now that I was getting too far ahead of myself, and I want to apologize for that. But if you pull all that money out of our bank now, it will really ruin my day.
And I have nothing to do with your day being ruined, Stanley. You didn't seem to care when my father was in a tough spot and his day was being ruined. So why should I care about your day?
Wait, please! I didn't mean that.
Also, it seems you never even looked at how the company was doing before my father passed, right?
Huh?
If you had just taken a look at the company's sales, you would have seen that it was going to make a comeback for sure. The only reason for my father needing some money from you at the time was because of a mistake one of the managers in the company had made when writing an order. And so because of that, the company did not have the right amount of money to cover the costs. But had you just handed over a little money to help pay for the costs at the time, then you would have seen that the company being in the red was only due to one late payment. So the only reason you thought the company was in the red for so long is because of that one mistake. But it was only on one occasion and wasn't even that big of a deal at the time. If you were really the amazing banker you feel that you are, you would have noticed that and understood that by handing the money to my father that one time, the status of being in the red would have gone away immediately after he made the payment.
Well, that's...
Did you ever take a look at the company's finances when he came to you? And on top of that, did you even offer to lend him anything?
I'm sorry, but I did not. I had assumed that him coming back to meet me again for money meant that his company was in the red for good. And so I never thought to look at the finances of his company. I'm so very sorry for that. But now I'm very much aware of how well your company is doing. Please allow my bank to continue working with your company.
I've already spoken to your bank's owner.
Huh?
I'll be going over there later to speak with them in person, but I will not be talking to you. I'll be letting them know about how it was your attitude that led to this choice.
Stop that, please. If you tell them about that, then I'll be made responsible for everything. Richard, please stop trying to make all of this my problem.
I'm not trying to make it your problem, as it's always been your problem, Stanley. And because of the way you acted after my father died, I'd hoped that you would have thought about your actions and made up for them sooner. But I can see that even after a few weeks have passed, you still don't see what you've done as your problem.
I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to apologize to you now, so please forgive me. I'll come to you and get on my hands and knees.
I don't need to see you doing that now. I know that you're a pile of garbage now, and will never change unless something severe happens to you. You really screwed up by not doing your job and labeling my father as scum for making one small mistake. I'm going to make sure you get a full whiff of this revenge that I've brewed up for you. Goodbye. After that, Stanley the banker was forced to take responsibility for his actions and was fired because of them. He was also made to pay the bank for the huge loss they just took when Richard pulled his company's money out, and is now stuck with some major debt. Really, the bank would have never minded Stanley for turning Richard's father away when he came asking for some help, but him going the extra mile and throwing 49 cents at Richard during his father's funeral is where things changed. If only Stanley had been a bit more mature about the way he acted, he would never have been in such trouble. But just as Richard had said, the only way that Stanley is going to learn and change for the better is after something severe happens to him, like losing his job.